Hey, Yvonne here, succession planning expert, executive coach, and the creator of Succession app. Today I'm going to tell you a story called What Just Happened? CEO of Succession Planning. The CEO of WJH Company announced his retirement to his board 1 year in advance of his retirement. His board decided immediately to start the executive search. And so the first step was to interview executive search firms and pick someone to assist them with this very important search. The CEO in the meantime decided to also let the employees know, let his executives know that he would be retiring within the year. He also let the executives know if anyone was interested in the position that they should let him know, that they should let also the search firm know. 4 of his executives stated that they were interested in pursuing this CEO position. So as the search went on, the search firm did their interviews with internal candidates. They found some external candidates. So the board ended up interviewing all 4 of the internal candidates and 5 external candidates. In their review of the candidates after the interviews, they decided to pick 2 of the internal candidates and 2 of the external candidates to bring in for the next round of interviews. So what's really interesting about this story is that after being picked to go to the next round of interviews, one of the internal candidates went to the CEO and said, I have this offer from another company for the exact same position that I have here, but for more money and more benefits. Do you think that the board would still interview me if I went to that company? The CEO said, let me get back to you. Let me think about this. You've thrown this big shocker at me. Of course I don't want to lose you, but let me think about this overnight. In the meantime, the internal candidate goes to and calls the board chair and says the same thing. I have this opportunity. It's at the same level. It's not a CEO level. It's more money. I know that we are interviewing in 5 weeks. They want me to start within 4 weeks. Would you be willing to interview me after I gave notice or if I started with them? And the board chair, in his shock, said, let me get the board together and I'll get back to you. So the board chair called an emergency meeting of the board members. They all got together. He explained what happened with this internal candidate, and a couple of them exclaimed, what just happened? So what issues do you hear in this story? First of all, was that internal candidate really interested in the CEO role, or was he really just looking for more money? Second of all, should the board interview him even if he's leaving, even if he leaves and starts his new position, or if he's given notice? Should they still interview him? Should the CEO have done anything he could to keep that person? And fourth, is it fair to give that person more compensation because they've threatened to leave? Is it fair to the other executives? Is it fair to all of the employees at the organization, but especially the other executives who applied for the position? So here's what you can do if you find yourself in a situation like this. First of all, make sure you're clear with your internal candidates about the expectations of the CEO role and the timeline for the CEO search. Make sure you're being fair, especially being fair compared to the other executives who have raised their hand for the search. And also make sure you know how motivated your internal candidates really are for the CEO role. Was he really motivated for the CEO role, or did he just want more money? The CEO did a really good job asking questions, but what was that motivation? We don't know. Make sure that you're asking that. Hopefully you won't ever find yourself in a situation like WJH Company.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to get information on succession planning, what you need to know.